doesn't make you great at something. Why is he in trouble for saying the truth?
Because they don't. Hollywood's not based on truth ever, any piece of it. So God bless the man for saying what we all know is true. But, it really speaks to sort of the juxtaposition between the positioning of this podcast and what the reality was. Her fake saccharine voice. Go back and look at the clip where Mariah Carey says to her, "You're a diva too." She was saying to Mariah, "You're a diva." Mariah said, "You're a diva." And, what's my idol?
Is he all right upstairs?
Calling me out. Just the over-the-top dramatic. She was pathetic. She wasn't good at it. He was right. And so what did we see in the press? She got an award for top podcast by some group I never heard of. That's how Hollywood, like the agents and the people around her, manipulate us, trying to make us believe this thing is a success. It's special. She's nailing it. And yet they weren't getting the downloads anytime after the first couple when people were tuning in because of curiosity. And they didn't get renewed because if there really was something special and award-winning about this thing, Spotify would have sucked up her laziness and put the team around her to make it successful. They didn't have the appetite because it was a loser and they knew it.
I am the one, the way your son don't need.
Joe Biden, of course, is a historic president because he's the only person who can fall upstairs. But he's also continuously lying about any knowledge to do with his son, and that's getting worse by the day. Whistleblowers who are genuinely brave, not the ones who just anonymously kept dropping against Trump, most of which was garbage. And then he was out there saying, "God save the Queen." Another wonderful fortnight for the free world.
God save the Queen, man.
What do you mean by that?
I don't have anything for you on that. I have no clue what was going on there. Why did he say that? Why does he say enjoy your senior year? Why does he say things like this? They come out of nowhere. And I do think, I used to go visit my Nana. My Nana lived on her own till she was 100. And when she turned 101, she had to go into the home, right, where she could get better medical care.
Nice.
And I heard things like that from some of her, colleagues in the senior citizens home.
Fellow inmates.
Right. I'm just saying that's the only time I've heard such nonsense get blurted out with absolutely no connection to what's happening in the room. Of course, the problem is he's the leader of the free world.
Are you sure about that?
Well, of course, the stress of the presidency, right? So we saw Barack Obama, fit bloke, go from sort of dark hair to grey hair in the space of his 8 years. This bloke starts as a corpse. What is the expectation of him at the end of 4, let alone 8?
I've got 2 words for you.
Okay.
Kamala Harris. That's what truly strikes fear in the hearts of most Americans. And they need to get real honest with themselves about the fact that that's the reality if this guy gets reelected. It may not be death. I'm not wishing this man an untimely death.
Of course not.
But he is pushing 86 by the end of that second term. Fact. And we already see the mental deterioration. So he could be, pushed right out of office thanks to his cabinet members if he becomes incapacitated any further mentally. More than likely, if he gets reelected, they won't do that. We've seen what they've done with John Fetterman, this senator in the state of Pennsylvania who can't put 2 sentences together either. They just keep pushing him into the voting box so he can vote the way they want.
Well, duh.
So maybe they'll do that with Joe Biden. I don't know. But at this point, it does look a little like elder abuse to make this guy run again. He won't have a debate, even though 80% of Democrats want him to debate his Democratic challengers. He won't do it. And I really think their whole plan is working right now, Paul, which is get Trump to be the nominee on the GOP side. That'll motivate the voters, and Biden won't really have to run or put himself out there and put words together.
Yeah, right.
100%. California always at the front of stupid things, and they've decided now to pass a new law that's particularly insane against parents who want to take care of their kids.
This can't be allowed. This has to stop.
Why? Why?
It passed the House in the California State House, and now it's going to go to the Senate. And it would have to be signed by the governor, who has presidential aspirations. And if this guy signs this, he's done. This isn't like, oh, trans people should get care, right? They call it gender affirming care. This is the California lawmakers saying, if you don't affirm, quote, affirm your child's gender confusion, and they don't define what that means. It could mean you refuse to get his penis chopped off when he says, I'm a girl.
That doesn't make sense.
You could be labeled a child abuser you could be treated as a criminal, the same as a sexual abuser of children. And anyone who has a duty to report, like a third-party source, like a school or an advocacy organization, would be able to report you to the authorities as a child abuser.
Boy.
So the original bill was, let's just have whether they're affirming and offering gender affirming care as a factor. A custody battle judge might be able to consider. But then this guy, Scott Wiener, who I believe has no children, added an amendment saying, let's take it one step further, where we could label them child abusers. We'll change the whole definition of abuse. And it got passed. These lawmakers actually passed it in the House in the state of California.
About it first.
And like the Dollies, it's often impossible for parents or anyone else to see.
Just no humanity there, Lady C.
Colder than ice. Colder. Look, I've had my eyes done. Check out my new eyes. Yeah. And I've got my Catherine wig on, which also covers up the fact that my scars might show. So because notice no white parting in with the brown face. And I'm going to show everybody how great I look. And who's that Casa woman speaking about her son having topped himself? Who cares? I mean, come on. You're here to look at me.
Stop it.
Me. I'm the fabulous one. I mean, the woman is an offense to humanity.
And why is Harry so miserable, Lady C? He barely spoke during that interview.
Wait for it.
He was cold. Is he really that unhappy, or had something specifically gone wrong that day to put a bee in his bonnet? Although we're seeing it a lot, actually, lately, aren't we?
Well,
here it comes.
I need to be careful what I say, Dan. But the whole business of the suicide ideation is something that Harry is fully aware of, being a very dangerous area, let's put it that way, or a very dangerous topic. And he will not have known about it because he is fully aware of the dangers inherent in discussing that. And he when she put her hand on his knee, there's no doubt in my mind that it was
almost there.
Very scripted and agreed, because as you know, interviewers and interviewees are briefed as to exactly what to say and how to say it and when to say it. But she will have said, "Oh, it's okay, Harry."
Are you serious?
Harry will do it. Well, Harry didn't do it. Because Harry didn't. I understand that Harry is very mindful that too many of us know the reality of
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
what has happened in certain situations, and that the one thing they should not be focusing on is why Meghan would lay claim to being suicidal, because Meghan should not be laying claim.
What is he doing?
To being suicidal, because she's laid claim to being suicidal on the 16th of January, having been at Birkenhead on the 14th of January, and he is fully aware of the fact that the dates don't match up, that with their various claims in terms of I was curled up in a ball and one tail left time. H had to get me up, and I didn't want to go, but I had to go. And he knows that there are many of us who are on to the whole reality of what happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And including, by the way, Lady C, the fact that she claims that she was sobbing in the middle of the Royal Albert Hall sitting in the royal box, but no one saw and no one took a photo. I mean, just complete baloney.
Yes,
Complete
the lights
baloney.
were never dimmed enough. She never had her makeup mod.
No.
And if you zero in on them, she was with her smirk, the constant smirk.
Okay.
That she adopts when look at me, I'm so great and grand. And also, if I smirk like this, I look whiter. While if my face relaxes, it's too African in presentation. And having gone to the trouble of having all that plastic surgery, I'm certainly not gonna do anything but keep a little straight.
At the same time, Lady C, Harry's decided to go to war with his own dad via People magazine, classless and particularly grim, given, and I know you're always careful about this, but given we know King Charles's
Wait for it.
health is not improving, put it that way, why on earth did he do something like this, Lady C?
Well, their marriage and their lives are in a mess. And
Here it comes.
my reading of the situation is that he's pulling both north and south, and so he's very conflicted. And he and she
Almost there.
most likely feel they have a limited amount of time in which to accomplish that which they can accomplish, chief of which is the restoration of their IPP status. And what they don't seem to realize is even if Charles could, which he can't, get it restored, because he can't, he doesn't have the authority.
He'd have to overturn a government decision, and that would lead to a constitutional crisis. Like, it's not even in his command to do it.
That's right. But even if he could, it can be reversed as soon as William is on the throne.
Oh, and it would be.
I would be very surprised if William is going to take as tolerant a view as Charles has taken. And Charles, as we all know, has actually stopped speaking to his son. Now, you and I have known this for some time, and you and I have been saying this for some time, and contradicting Harry and Meghan's stories that were planted in People and Vanity Fair, etc. Oh, we're regular